You can spend your whole life wading through endless studies and mountains of data on health. But today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to focus on one single, incredibly powerful question, a question that can literally act as a compass for the rest of your life. So here it is. What are the most impactful lifestyle interventions for maximizing healthy aging and longevity? Just let that sit for a second. This isn't just some academic thought experiment. No, this is a profound challenge to how we think about our health, our habits, and our future. I want you to think of this explainer as a kind of journey. You're the adventurer on a quest for a longer, healthier, more vibrant life. And this question is your map. But like with any good map, before you can use it, you've got to understand what all the symbols mean. All right, so let's start decoding this thing. We're going to break down the key landmarks, those core phrases right inside the question, starting with the very first word. Because that one word, it really sets the tone for our entire quest. First up, impactful. This is so crucial. The question isn't asking for every possible health tip out there, or even the easiest ones. No, it's demanding that we find the big levers. The 20% of actions that give us 80% of the results. It's about finding the things that truly count. And this is where that idea of impactful gets really practical, right? It forces us to ask ourselves some tough questions. Are we making fundamental shifts, or are we just making minor tweaks? Are we actually addressing the root causes of our problems, or are we just managing the symptoms? It's really the difference between rearranging the deck chairs on a sinking ship and actually grabbing the wheel and steering it to safety. It's a pretty powerful lens to look at your life through, isn't it? I mean, when you think about your own health habits, are you making real, sustainable changes, or are you just slapping on temporary fixes and hoping for the best? Okay, so let's move to the next landmark on our map and see how this all builds. We're talking about the two big goals here, healthy aging and longevity. Now, they might sound like the same thing, but they actually represent two very different and equally important destinations on our journey. So, on one side, you've got healthy aging. That's all about the quality of your life. It's your vitality, your ability to function, to do the things you love. It's about adding life to your years. Then on the other side, you've got longevity. That's the sheer quantity of years, the duration. And the question just brilliantly forces us to see that one without the other is, well, it's a hollow victory. I mean, what's the point of living a super long life if you can't actually enjoy it? Just think of it like this. A successful life, a successful outcome, it isn't just one slice of the pie. It's the whole picture. Vitality, function, and years, they're all essential parts of a single unified goal. Real success isn't about collecting more birthdays, it's about having the health and the energy to make every single one of those birthdays count. So we're looking for high-impact strategies for a long, high-quality life. But how do we actually get there? Well, the map points us to our final key phrase, lifestyle interventions. Now, I know it sounds a bit like clinical jargon, but this is honestly the most empowering part of the entire question, because it's all about action and taking control. At its heart, an intervention is about making a conscious decision to stop just drifting along and start actively steering. See, an intervention isn't a passive habit or something that just sort of happens to you by accident. It is a purposeful, conscious choice. It's a strategy that you design and implement for your own health. And this is basically what an intervention looks like in the real world. It's a deliberate cycle. First, you become aware of something you want to change. Then you form an intention to do something about it. You take action. And then, and this part is absolutely critical, you reflect. You ask, is this working? Is it having the impact I want? It's a beautiful process of continuous mindful improvement. And that, right there, is the most empowering part of this whole idea. It totally reframes health. It's not something that's just determined by fate or your genetics alone. It's something that you can actively, purposefully shape. It puts you in the driver's seat of your own biology. So we've decoded the map. We understand the landmarks. And all of this brings us to the most important realization of our entire journey. A bit of a twist in the story, if you will. So what's the big twist? It's this number. 8 billion. That's roughly how many people are on this planet. Which means there are 8 billion different genetic codes, 8 billion different environments, 8 billion different lifestyles. And therefore, well, there have to be 8 billion unique answers to our ultimate question. And this is the giant aha moment. The map, it turns out, doesn't lead to some universal treasure chest with a one-size-fits-all answer inside. Its real purpose is to lead you back to yourself. The answer isn't out there in some study or a news headline. It's in here. So the final step in our explainer isn't to give you an answer. It's to give you the right question. It's about handing the map over to you so you can finally begin your own deeply personal journey of discovery. And look at that, such a simple but incredibly profound change. By adding one little word, my, the question completely transforms. It goes from being this abstract academic concept into a deeply personal mission. It's no longer about what works for the average person, it's about what works for you. And this is where our journey together ends and yours begins. The map is decoded, the question is crystal clear, and all the power is right there in your hands. So, what's your first step?